Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Lunartix here in my beautiful Somnaul flight form. Finally we can use flight form again. Man, I've been missing it so much. And these new flight forms are spectacular. Like the animations so smooth. And look at that face. And the colors and everything, right? And yeah, I mean, you can even run around with it. I mean, yeah, I'm just absolutely in love with it. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's see if I can get this to go back. Here we go. And it even has a casting animation. Look at that. Angry bird. Arr. Anyways, I'm here making a short video because there's a lot of development on the Mythic Plus front when it comes to different types of specs, right? So here you can see I've made a few differences, right? So a friend of mine tipped me yesterday that there's been some changes, and he was looking through the top Moonkins players in the world in Mythic Plus, and checking out the specs, and there were definitely different variations going on there. Like the top player yesterday was running the same build that we usually do or have done in season 2, like no mushrooms. He was running Denizens of the Dream, Friend of the Fae, Incarn, of course, and these, right? Nothing spectacular, nothing different, and that is still a very strong spec. Obviously, it does tons of damage, and he was able to use that to get to rank 1. So, I mean, nothing wrong with using that. However, I have been trying out some other things because basically all the other players in the top 10 had different variations, right? A lot of them were playing with New Moon. Now these people were doing 27s, 28 keys and stuff of that nature. I prefer to play with Fury of Loon in Mythic Plus. It works. It's harder to pull off a good damage in Mythic Plus when you are running New Moon. I'm not gonna say it's bad or impossible. Obviously, it works if these guys can do it. So it's a question of skill. And I am not skilled enough to pull off that type of damage that they do with New Moon in Mythic Plus. That's for sure. I would require a lot of practice. However, I really like Fury Balloon and having it fast with the Radiant Moonlight. Now, some other Moonkins, they weren't even running Radiant Moonlight, so they'd run like New Moon, take away Radiant Moonlight, they took away Denizens of the Dream and Friend of the Fade, as you see that I have done here as well. Everyone except for the number 1 position is playing with Shrooms. Some of them had 2 points in Astral Smolder, one guy had 2 points in Balance of All Things, and some of them had mushrooms, Denizens of the Dream, skipping Friend of the Fae, and using Radiant Moonlight. There were some different variations. Now this is the spec that I tried yesterday. So I'm taking away Denizens of the Dream and Friend of the Fae here, as you can see, and I am keeping Fury of Loon, keeping Radiant Moonlight. I put 1 point in Wild Mushrooms. And then I put another point here, Elun's Guidance, a talent we have never used before. So that's very exciting. First, good. I had a bad day yesterday, made many mistakes. Decided after some frustration and angry comments to stick with it and try, because I knew that I could do better, and it was, it's unfair to judge the validity of a spec if you know that you're playing poorly and you're upset. You should judge these things for when you pull them off perfectly. But yeah, so this is what I've been trying out. This is what I'm gonna stick with as well. Now, bear in mind, you don't have to use Radiant Moonlight if you don't want. You can put that point in Astral Smolder or in Balance of All Things, whichever you like. Not like, I don't know why that person took it in Balance of All Things, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, it feels like an experimental phase. We don't really know exactly yet what's going on. And these players are at the top, so I'm guessing they're testing around to see what works the best, right? Just in preparation for next week, Wednesday, when Season 3 starts. And this is also why I'm putting this video up, because I want you guys to be or feel prepared. If you haven't checked these things out for yourself, here you go. So obviously, Elun's guidance with Incarn says reduces the astral power cost of Star Search by 8 and the astral power of Starfall by 10. What does that mean? Well, it means that you're going to be able to use more spenders faster because they are cheaper. Very simple, right? And I had some moments, especially when you go into an eclipse, let's say in an AoE pool, in Mythic Plus, and you're using a Fury of Elune together with either your Pulsar or your Incarn or any other eclipse, right? You're generating a ton of astral power. Now, before I used the Lune's Guidance, I'd maximum, like if I had everything rolling with Pulsar and Fury of Lune to refill my astral power fast, I'd be able to at the most get out 3 Starfalls in a row if I got lucky, right? Without any casts whatsoever in between. However, in the same situation yesterday with the Lune's Guidance, I was able to quite consistently get out 3 Starfalls instantly, and sometimes even 4, right? And then if you're lucky with the Orbit Breaker, you might even get out 5 if you're really pushing it. So that's obviously making a ton of difference, and if you get 4 Starfalls out, just when you get into the eclipse, well, with the balance of all things, yeah, you're gonna crit like crazy. Now, I guess that is the idea that the person in the top 10 Moonkins in the world was thinking about when they put 2 points in balance of all things. I'm guessing, because the higher chance you have to crit when you are using multiple spenders just as you go into your eclipse, which is where you get this buff, right? I mean, it's like if you get out 4 Starfalls together with all of your other spells that have 24% increased crit for a while, and then decays slowly, then you're gonna go do tons of burst, right? So that's basically the idea they're going with, I'm thinking. I'm going with the Radiant Moonlight anyways. There is no problem with that. There were some people doing that as well. Now a lot of them, most of them, almost everyone went with New Moon. Just so you know, and if you want to try that out, you know that it's possible to do well with that type of spec as well. Now it depends also on the team you're playing with, right? And I have no idea who they are playing with, how they play, the pulls they make, and all of these things. Like I have no idea how they play at that level, because I've never played at that level in Mythic Plus before, so I can only really speculate. But let's see. I wanted to show you, and yeah, if anyone has been observant, you can see that I am actually a Night Elf now. I have switched to the Alliance. Yes, I'm a traitor. Uh, But I just got so hyped for this expansion and all of the story and everything. And yeah, I got nostalgic. It was my first ever Druid. The account that I unfortunately lost, where I used to raid at a high level in Wrath of the Lich King. That was a Night Elf Druid. That was the first character I ever made in WoW before the Burning Crusade. So coming full circle, right? And booyah, this is my Moonkin form. So I wanted to see if we can do anything here. I think my KUI nameplates are not working. Maybe on. Okay, I'm gonna have to go into the settings. I apologize. Bear with me. What is it? Interface always shown. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, let's see what happens. I'm not expecting any miracles. All I can say is that it was insane in the dungeons. Absolutely insane. And when you're doing a boss pull or any type of pull with heroism and popping all of your cooldowns when you have Eloon's guidance, it's insane. Like I spent. I mean, in Vortex Pinnacle after the run, I had used like around 120 star surges in the dungeon, and most of it we are using Starfall because we are doing trash more than we are bosses. But keep that in mind. We are absolutely pumping out star surges with this build and Starfalls. But yeah, so keep that in mind. You're gonna do insane damage when you go into your Eclipse. Also, with the new tier set, right? I don't think I can see the bonus here. Let's see. This is incorrect. Let's do this. No, that's not right either. Here, sets. Let's see. No, wait, I cannot. Can I see it here? Ah. So, when the eclipse ends, or when you enter combat, enter a dream state, we know this. Reducing the cast time of your next to starfires or wraths by 40%, increasing their damage by 100%. Tasty AF, but the foreset here. Star Surge or Starfall increases your current Eclipse's arcane or nature damage bonus by an additional 2%, up to 10. So if you can spam out stuff super fast while you go into your Eclipse, obviously you're gonna get up to those 10% much faster, which gives you more DPS and more damage overall. So I believe this is gonna be the way to go. Okay, let's see what I can do here. What spec am I in? Oh yeah, wow. I've been talking about the spec this entire video, and then I have to ask myself. Okay, so pop shroom. That's 3 starfalls before I even start using my shrooms, right? Bear in mind, this is me on a dummy, right? And I'm going out of Eclipse and I'm gonna go instantly into a Pulsar here as soon as my Star Lord triggers, okay, or is removed. I mean, you should try this spec if you haven't in a dungeon. It is absolutely insane. My personal tips would be do this in freehold and you will be absolutely in love with this spec. And since you get so many spenders out, right? Like even more so when you are using your star surges, it is also really good for bosses because the more star surges you can get out, obviously the higher your single target damage. So yeah, this spec is absolutely fantastic. You just have to get used to the shrooms, but don't worry, it's not that much of a problem that I thought it would be. My tips would be every time you go into an eclipse for a trash pull, I even use it as on the boss just to make sure that you have waning twilight, right? But when you go into the eclipse in a big pool, first of all, of course, you put up your dots. You go into your eclipse, and the first thing you do when you enter the eclipse is pop 1 mushroom so you have waning twilight. The only exception would be if you are above 80 astral power, then use Starfall once to reduce it, and then you pop the mushroom so you don't overcap. But yeah, that's basically it. And yeah, hell yeah, finally we look like Druids again. Woohoo! Have fun, guys. Kick ass in the new zone. Have fun with the new content. I'm loving it. And I'll see you in season 3.